Hi, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of Carolina Rides, our once every couple of weeks look at the automotive scene across the upstate and in some cases beyond. I do want to remind everybody we post all of this stuff up on YouTube, on the Carolina Rides YouTube channel. You can find that at Carolina Rides, WSPA. If you're already watching us here, thank you. We're also on the WSPA Plus streaming channel. It's the free app that you can get for your smart TVs. We're also found on Facebook at Carolina Rides and on Instagram, Carolina Rides Official WSPA. You got any questions about any guests we've had? If you've got any ideas for future shows, feel free to pass them along. We do act on them, sometimes not immediately, so be patient, but we try to get to as many ideas as we possibly can, and we will continue to do that. Let's talk now to, joining me here in the studio, Glenn Brown with the Terminal Takeover show that they happen. This is the third annual one at the Greenville Downtown Airport. Glenn, tell me a little bit about the background of this event, how it got started.
First, thank you for having me on. We actually just started 2.5 years ago. This is our third year. My wife and I go to car shows and truck shows pretty much nationwide. Farthest we've been was Vegas. Vegas was the farthest that we've gone. So we decided that we wanted to, after seeing everyone's take on a show, to have our own. And sat down, thought about it, and Terminal Takeover was started.
Now, Terminal Takeover is, for our area, a little bit different because it's not just everybody. There's kind of a theme that goes on.
Correct. So, quick background. I am your 80s mini truck guy that loved mini trucks as in high school and forward. So we kind of cater to the mini truck 80s theme, anything 80s. I'm a Gen X, I love anything that came out in that era. So we kind of cater to that. So you have your mini trucks with all the crazy paint jobs, the murals, just different things. But we also have cars and everything else that kind of comes to that era. So, it's a little bit different, but we have everyone. It's not just trucks, but we're slowly moving one day to just bring everyone all of just cool 80s mini truck theme rides.
What got you hooked initially on the 80s trucks, and what was the first thing you actually had?
So we're going to go back to 88. Just got my license, and I was in high school. And the funny thing is, I still talk to this gentleman. High school, there was S10 that was white, had splash designs on it, and on the hood had a cool design of the picture of the truck on the beach with water splashing over it. I'm walking towards my bus, and I was just captivated by it, and walked up, looked at it. There was another guy next to him that had a Chevy Vega, if you can remember those, and he had what we call target top, where you just cut kind of the top off, and the back seat was gone and was full of speakers. I was just blown away by both of them. The guy was really nice to talk to me. His name was Brian Martin, and I was hooked from that point. After that, I went home, tried to find what I could to get my mom's car to go to the mall. Back then, we saw things at the mall, and I got to a magazine place, Books A Million, that's what it's called, and got a magazine called Mini Truckin' Magazine. That was my Google during back then. So got that magazine and subscribed, and every month I would get a magazine with nothing but those type of vehicles. Fast forward a year later, I was able to get my first one. It was a Mazda B2200 truck, extended cab. And if anyone looks on my Facebook page, I still have pictures of it. I ended up painting it yellow with blue polka dots that went from big to small down up the front and down the side. It was off the Mini Truckin' Magazine. There was a company called Lund, and they had vans that they did to promote their ground effects. And he had done that paint, and I fell in love with it. So, yes, my first truck, we called it Dot Fever because it had polka dots. Some of my friends used to call it the Sickness but that was my first vehicle.
What do you have? Do you have something like that now? Because I know before the show started, we talked a little bit about, once you get to a certain age and you have the time and the means, everybody kind of goes back and goes to what they were really interested at a particular point in their life. So what is your interest now? What do you have?
So my wife would say that I have a problem, and that is collecting vehicles. So my truck that I have that I kind of started with is a 2009 Chevy Silverado crew cab. We ended up taking the bed and making it a long bed. So that is my first truck that I started with, because it's a long story, but there was a truck that I fell in love with in Charleston. That's basically where I'm from, is Charleston. And this gentleman was from Oklahoma. Again, quick, I could sit here and talk for days about trying to do it quickly. There was a magazine truck that came to Charleston. I fell in love with it. It was called The Legend of the Sphinx. Had a whole bunch of, and I'm going to totally mess this up because I cannot say this word, but the Egyptian hieroglyphics down the side and all over it. Fell in love with that truck. So that truck had changed hands. He sold it. Different people purchased it. Well, I knew that I would never be able to get it, so I mimicked kind of the truck with my Silverado. After the Silverado, I purchased a Caprice wagon. That was kind of supposed to be like the family vehicle because I love those, a huge 95 Caprice, big body that they call it, and I ended up, again, putting airbags on it and turning it into another show vehicle. So now we have two vehicles that we really can't drive every day. So as time goes, this last year, right around September, I ended up acquiring the Sphinx that I thought that I would never be able to get. And it came available, so I went and grabbed it. So now I have the Sphinx. I have my truck I named Revenge of the Mummy. So I have both of those, plus my Caprice wagon, plus I have a golf cart that is painted like both of them, kind of has that theme to it. Plus I built a trailer that the Mummy pulls that also has airbags and sits on the ground and all of that good stuff. So yes, there's more to come, but I can't say right now because my wife might be listening.
I was just thinking, I wouldn't consider either the Silverado, that's not a mini truck, and
Right.
the Caprice wagon is a wagon, and it's not mini either. Is there something that I mean, even if you're not going to buy it, let's start with that so nobody gets upset that you're thinking about getting one.
Right.
But is there something of that era that you kind of wish you had?
No, only because I have it. That
Okay.
truck, the Legend of the Sphinx, is a mini truck. It's another Mazda B 2200.
Right.
She's just completely stripped, but I'm going to slowly, that's our thing right now, is we are resurrecting the Sphinx. It was my dream truck, and I was able to get it. So there's a ton of them out there that are awesome that I would love to have, but the Sphinx is my dream, and I have it. We're slowly, she's rough. And so it's just I'm starting from scratch. If you ever built a truck and have any idea, we're starting from scratch.
We're going to talk a little bit more about the show right now and some of the trucks that have been there. I've got your Facebook page called up, actually, and some of the photos. So I'm going to kind of page through a few of these. If you can mention if you've got some details about any of these that you remember, or just kind of how this fits the vibe as to what we've seen or what we will see at Terminal Takeover.
So that is Jamie Skeen's truck. He is, I believe it's Virginia. He's like on that border between Virginia, West Virginia. I'm not sure where, but I believe he's in Virginia. He has several vehicles also. He has a problem like myself. But this full size is, yes, if the hood was down, you would see the graphics going up the hood that would have, like, I believe, skulls and different things like that. It's a mini truck themed full size.
Okay.
That's our Sips Back in Time. Great people. They will be there, the same spot where they're at. they serve our great beer and wine that they have. It's just they're a great couple.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about some of the other things that are going on besides cars here in a little bit, because I know it's a family event that has got something for kids of all ages. Of course, we've got more of the trucks here.
Yes, there's a bunch. I can real quick. The red Toyota that's behind that white Nissan, that is the gentleman's name is Waka Frank. He actually throws a show in Georgia the weekend after ours, which is called Southern Tradition in Canton, Georgia. Great fella. Next to him in that kind of root beer, Mitsubishi, that gentleman runs a magazine called Local Rides Magazine. And he does he goes to all of shows kind of like ours and has the pictures and does everything for us. It's a great magazine. I tell people definitely check him out. And again, yeah, it's is that? Yes, that's Local Rides Magazine. That's him.
Yeah, that old brown or root beer, that is such a classic color from the late 70s and the early 80s in particular that you saw in a lot of those smaller trucks.
So that is Bill's, and I cannot remember Bill's last name. I'm sorry, Bill. I know if you're listening,
I'm just surprised you couldn't match up all the people with all the trucks at this point. I think that's great.
Bill's an awesome dude. That truck, so coming into our era, that time, there were trucks that were made that were called Trucksarosas. This one was the smaller Trucksarosa, where it's kind of like the Ferrari Testarossa, where you have those fins. That's on this S10. Now, there's a larger, it's another kit that starts really from the front wheels all the way back. I did not have one last year. I had one the first year. But Bill's truck is awesome. I tell him every time I see him that whenever he's ready to get rid of it, to please call me.
There's somebody who obviously liked that truck.
So that is Waller. He is from North Carolina. He actually has a vehicle he's bringing too. He's with a club called Pebble Pushers.
We'll talk a little bit more about some of this stuff here in a little bit too, because again, it's a fun for all ages, and you guys actually have Hot Wheel races. Hold off on the details on that. I want to save that for a little bit. Somebody really did out the back of this one.
Yes. Oh gosh. And this is one other person that I cannot remember, but that is an S10 Blazer. And again, in our era, we did car stereo. At one time in my lifetime, I had managed a car stereo shop, and that was what we did, was big walls, big speakers, and, just loud sound.
And there's another example of some of those speakers as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a lineup of Chevys.
Yep. So that white Blazer to the right, that first picture with the speakers, that's in that vehicle there. And they're in a club called Aftermath.
Well, that's a good kind of brief glimpse at some of the types of vehicles that you will see at Terminal Takeover. We're at about the halfway point here. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the fact that, you know what, there's more than just trucks. There's events for all ages, and we'll probably throw up a few other pictures as well. Stay with Carolina Rides. We're coming right back. All right, everybody, welcome back to Carolina Rides. Glenn Brown from Terminal Takeover is with me talking about the Terminal Takeover show that's coming up. We'll get to more on that in just a second. But first, something that I've been kind of going through my mind as we've been doing this that I forgot to ask right at the beginning. How did you end up at the Greenville Downtown Airport as a site?
So that was, we kind of fell into that. I have very close younger group that I call my nephews. They actually have a shop in Greenville called Carolina Stance. And the Carolina Stance shop was with another group that was coming there first. They're out of Florida, ASM. Well, just kind of talking with them, and they were younger, so they were having little issues with trying to get their show set up, and was asking, maybe if I could go and talk to somebody. Ended up talking with them, and almost just kind of said, what if I threw a show there with what we did? Would it be easier to get the show set up? And talking with my connection there, he said it would be great for us to, but it would have to be like a family oriented show and not just have everyone there just to park. There's got to be a little bit more to that. And my wife and I had already talked, and we were already thinking about it. And it just kind of fell into our lap with it. And talking with my nephews at the Carolina Stance Shop, I told them I was going to try for it. And, they were just humble, and they were like, yeah, the more we can get here to Greenville would be great. And so that's why there was 2 shows there at the time, and they were in April, and I ended up doing mine in March, only because March was the only open time. Like I said, we have our car shows everywhere around this country. And so it's hard to have a weekend where you're not going up against another show somewhere else.
Now, you mentioned right in there talking about wanting to make this a family event, and it's more than just a car show. What are some of the things that are available for really kids of all ages?
So with the airport, as everyone knows, there's a huge park right next to the airport. That is phenomenal what they have at the airport. Oops. So I ended up talking with my wife, and we came up with something that we could do at the show, because it's hard to have family and friends and things going to a show and you just park and sit, and when you have children, and especially with wives and everything, they kind of get antsy. I could walk around and I could see vehicles and talk about them all day long, but they're just, what is that? Whoop-de-doo. So we wanted to make a family-oriented show. So we came up with a Hot Wheels race, because everyone loves Hot Wheels, and Hot Wheels goes right along with what we do. And we thought about some type of eating contest. Well, we didn't want to hurt people with the hot, spicy things. Hot dogs, we could be there all day with, so we figured we'd go with the Little Debbie zebra cakes. So the Hot Wheels is great. I supply the Hot Wheels. They're in a mystery box, so the people don't know what they're picking. It's 18 cars for adults, 18 cars for children, because it is adult and and children race. So they pick them, they open up the box, that's their car, and we race. We have different trials, eliminations down to the end, and the winner wins a trophy that we have made from a company called Welch's Chop Shop, which he does a lot of metal work. Don't let the name fool you. It's just a lot of cool metal works that he does, and he came up with the award for that.
Now, we got a picture of the track right here. Are you the official starter for this?
Well, this was our first year, okay. So I wanted to, but this year we will vote for a child to pull the lever for the race to begin. I only did it the first year because, again, we weren't sure what we were doing. It was our first year trying it. Everyone was around there. The kids were running, hoping to throw their cars on the track, and the track was a little wonky at the time. So, but yes, that is me. That was our first round, and then we had to move for everyone else. But it's 18 kids, 18 adults. They race down to the end. And what I might do in future is maybe have more, because 18 is just not enough. We have a lot of people wanting to race.
Yeah, but the problem is the flip side of that. It takes a lot of time then too. If you're going to go through,
correct,
let's say 50, entrants, to
correct.
Whittle that down is going to take more than a couple minutes. You mentioned the eating contest. Tell me some stories about that.
So our joke in our little scene about the Little Debbie cakes, we always at a show will have them and snack on them and share them. So I figured, why not have the contest? First year we had the contest. We had some large men, kind of large like myself, a little bit bigger, and they were in the contest and ended up getting beat by a 16-year-old girl from Kentucky. And she just out-ate all these guys, and it was just funny seeing these guys sitting there with Little Debbie stuff all over their face, and they're looking at the girl like, I cannot believe she just beat me, and she won. So we have a very large size award for that, which is a actual kind of like a Little Debbie cake, but it's huge. And what we do is we have the people, you keep it for a year, you sign it with your name and date, and then you return it the next year. So whoever wins the next year gets to keep it for a year, sign it, and we're moving forward. So the award will come back, and we'll do it again for the third year, and we'll see who wins now.
Yeah, that's a nice little tradition right there, actually. What are some of the other activities and some of the other vendors who are going to be there?
Vendors, we have a few. So I'm excited because I have a gentleman coming from Oklahoma. He's called Wiener Dog Fabrication. He does a lot of metal work and builds just anything for our genre again. And he will be there. He's actually one of our title sponsors, which is all over our shirts and our banners and stuff. He was excited to come and wanted to just be on the tarmac. So we have him. I have the company that makes our shirts and does a lot of shirts for our community, which is very cool, which is called Hammered Wear Weekend. What they do is they make shirts for people that have built rides. So if I had like my truck and it was done, he will do a shirt with a theme to it on, for my truck. And they have tons of them different. And these are just regular people that you actually get a shirt made, and everyone loves it. So they will be there. There is food wise, we have JC concessions will be there. We have our group that basically comes back every year that we love, which is Fly Dogs. They are more of like a military based family, and just great hot dogs. I wish I had my list. I came unprepared.
Oh, you're plenty prepared. Something else I also want to bring up, since you brought up military themes, we've got a couple props that you brought in, like this. This is a wine bottle holder.
Yes.
And we have another one that is a thermos, and that one's Terminal Takeover 2026. What was the genesis of these?
Okay, so I, again, being the 80s toy nerd, I love collecting things. And every show that we go to, we like to, have things as collectors to say that we went. So to try to stay with our theme, we're at an airport. We try to stick with that. So I have a gentleman in Kentucky that does 3D printing. So we have all sorts of things. I also, besides those bullets, we wanted to stay kind of, in that theme. So I had him do the bullets. And again, I'm trying to think for gentlemen and wives. So when the husband says, "Hey, look what I got," she's like, "Yay." And then he opens it up and there's a bottle of wine, but look what I got with it. So she should be like, "Okay," so something to bring us together. The metal one that you showed, that was just a thermos, so even, if the kids or someone you could take to work and use it. But we have so many different things because the top screws off. We have different, we also, to stay with which I should have brought, was I have my guy do 3D printing of the old 80s brick phone. Remember that first brick phone? Mm-hmm. So what I do is I take them and I ask anyone who wants to design them, and I mail them to them. And then they paint them, they do whatever that they think is cool, and then they send them back. And then we auction those off. And at the, each year we try to do different charities to, with these phones, because I've done the phones, from day one. This year we have some awesome phones. Like they went above and beyond for these items. One dude, painted it almost like the Star Wars thing, and it has Darth Vader holding it up, and the antenna lights up. It's just awesome. But we also have, people in our group that does painting, and that are famous, that have painted a lot of these famous vehicles. I've had them paint some of these phones too. So, and again, we just do that for the charities that we decide that we pick for each year. This year, right down the street from us is the Greenville Humane Society, and they're rebuilding their building and everything. So we wanted to, because everyone loves pets. So this year's charity is going to them, even if we can just, buy some dog food and cat food to help them out, anything to help the pets.
Yeah, that's awesome. I want to make sure I get this in before we run out of time. We brought another prop. You can get up. It's behind you, the
Yes.
bike.
So real quick, we have a People's Choice Award. So people who come in as spectators will get a card, and you can walk around. Each person who's entered in their rear view mirror will have a number, and you write down the number and put it in the box. And whoever gets the most votes wins.
Drum roll, please.
Yeah, right. Which that is, again, our 80s BMX style bicycle. And that was donated by a great gentleman, Billy Hawkman. Again, he did all of the work. He painted it. He did everything. So kudos to him, and we thank him. But yes, and good luck, because it's not heavy, but it's awkward. And whoever wins is going to have to take that thing home.
But it'll fit in the back of one of those trucks. One more time, really quick. Give us one more quick rundown. The time, the date, the times this is happening, and obviously the location is the Greenville Downtown Airport.
Correct. So Friday, the 20th, March 20th, we have a pre-party, which is at the Greenville Harley Davidson. That is from 7 until 9. We just do like a lip sync and kind of, party, kind of just hang out type of thing. Still family oriented. You can go right next door and eat at the Quaker Steak and Lube. Saturday, the show, the 21st, starts at 8, but people will start coming in at 7. That is at the downtown Greenville Airport, GMU, 21 Airport Road extension. And we will be there from 7 until 4. Awards usually start about 3. So by 4 o'clock, we're starting to mosey on out. I don't have times yet for when we'll do the Hot Wheels or the zebra cake, but I will announce it during the day. I'm figuring about 11 we'll start it, but we'll have to see. We have to get set up, and that's really it. Just it's $5 for spectators, for 13 and above. 12 and under is free.
Great. This has been a blast. I wish you well with the terminal takeover, and thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
And that's it for Carolina Rides today. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you for watching. Until next time, drive safely.